Hey everybody, welcome back to the Preserves. On today's episode, we're going to be doing something a little bit different than what I've done in the past. And that being is because I kind of want to build myself a tube amplifier. And there's some tools that I need in my repertoire that I don't have. And so I have to kind of purchase these tools and build a couple of tools that I'm going to need for my own safety while building these amps or by building this amp that I'm going to build. And one of those tools is this little unit right here. Let me just show you that. So what this is a tube tester, and this is the EICO 625 model. I got this off of eBay. It was $60, but these notoriously have like resistors and film capacitors that have gone out of spec. And so what we're going to do today is we're going to, before we plug it in or anything, we're going to most likely replace this old power cord, because these are from, I believe this model itself and this unit is from the 50s. And so we kind of want to bring this up to like a modern day safety kind of spec. So we're going to probably replace this cord and check the resistors and the film capacitors in here. I have printed out a schematic for it, so we can go through and test the values of those things. So without further ado, let me get this opened up. We'll flip it over and we'll get our multimeter and start testing some of the values on some of these components in here and see what we have to purchase. Okay, so we've got this opened up and flipped around on the other side. We see that there's actually only one tube in this. Let me see what side we're working with here. Let me get a little bit more slack on this power cord. There we go. Okay, so on this side, we've got our selector switch and our filament winding switch. So, alright, so right here, there's the selector switch, and on this side we've got the filament winding switch. And then if we come over here to our schematic, we'll see that we've got our selector switch, and then right here is our filament winding switch. So all of our filament windings are right here, and then this goes to the tube itself over here, and then we've got our resistor for our tube, which is R6. So we'll come over here and we'll look at R6, and that's supposed to be a 95k ohm. And what we're going to do is we're just going to go through and we're going to start testing. This one right here, automatically we already know that this oil and wax, let me back you out a little bit so you can see. This oil and wax capacitor right here is going to be out of spec most likely. And this big resistor over here, this big green thing right here you see, that big green resistor right there is most likely still good and in spec, but we're going to test that as well and make sure. These are a wound resistor, so that they don't normally go out, but we're going to test it and we're going to see where we're at on all of these, the readings on this. So we're just going to clip on to each side of these resistors and see what their values are compared to what the value should be on the schematic. I'm not very good at reading a schematic, so I really have to just trace it down. There's a 4.7K, a 2.5K, a 1.6K. I'm guessing all of these resistors are just out of spec, so we're gonna have to read the values that are on these resistors and then replace them in order. Yeah, this one's saying it's like 160 ohms, and I have nothing on here that says even close to 160 ohms. Let's check this one. And that one's just open. That's weird. Why would that one just be open? And that one's definitely out of spec. Let me switch my leads around and make sure. So that one says we're 0.763. All right, so this is it's reading 76. I don't know if you can set 0.76.2, which is a 76, or 0.762, which is a 76.2K ohm resistor, and there is nothing even close. So all these resistors have to be replaced here. Let me check this big one and make sure that that is within spec. It should be before we order anything up. Oh yeah, that one's still in spec. So like I thought, it's reading 2.47K, and it's supposed to be a 2.5K with a which is a 5-watt resistor and 10%. So it's definitely within spec. So that big green one is still good. And let's check this one over here, just to be on the safe side so we know what we're replacing. This one should be the 95K 95K resistor. Yeah, so that one's the 95K. That one is still in spec. Let's check this capacitor. It's supposed to be a 0.5 0.01 microfarad, and I'm pretty sure it's, oh yeah, it's reading 23.1 nanofarads, which is 0.023 microfarads. So that is completely out of spec. Yeah, so that one's completely out of spec. Let's get some parts ordered, and then we'll bring it back for the next one. I've got a couple of more values to check here, and then yeah, we'll get some parts ordered up, and then I'll bring it back. Alright, so it's been about 2 weeks since I did the first part of this video. I ordered up some parts, and I actually learned some stuff. I wrote it down. I'm actually wearing the same clothes, which is weird. I went through some stuff and wrote down on here. I learned some stuff on this. So this two things right here is both sides of this selector switch. So on this side, we've got this we've got our R1, which is our 2.5K, and then our R2, which is this top resistor. Let me zoom you in a little bit here and bring it down. Maybe you can see this a little bit better. Zoom you in a little bit more. Bring you over to the center of the stage. Let me get my little poker so my fingers aren't in your way. So this resistor on top here is this R4 or R2, excuse me, and this is supposed to be a 4.7K, and it's reading at 6.3K. So we're gonna change this one out. It's pretty well out of spec. And then down here, the one right below this resistor right here is the R3 position, and that's supposed to be an 820 ohm, and it's measuring at 970 ohms. Now we pop over to the other side over here. We'll move this resistor to the other side. Let me kind of spin this actually. Maybe you can see this resistor here. Oh, you can't see it, can you? Let me move you down a little bit. There you go. So these were the resistors on the other side that I was talking about. Down in here, this one here, and then the one right underneath it. That's R2 up on top and R3 down on the bottom. Right here on the top of this, we move to this second side of the switch over here, and that's these two resistors right here. And so you come over here and you can see that this has a jumper to it, and so that's how I actually trace this down. You've got a jumper from this one to this leg here, and so from this leg to this leg over here is your R4, and that's supposed to be a 1.6K it's supposed to be a 1.6K value, and it's measuring at 230 ohms, this bottom one right here. And so that one is way out of spec. So we'll just be replacing all of these carbon composites. This one on the light here, I can't remember what I think this is a neon light in here, but it's actually measuring within spec, but we're gonna just replace it. I'm not gonna play any games. So that one right there is actually this this one right here on the schematic. if you can see. So this one's, it's measuring 3.8, and over here on our parts, it's saying that that one can be anywhere from a 3 to 5 ohm, and it's measuring from over here on this R8, it's saying it could be a 3 to 5 ohm, and it's actually measuring 3.8. So it's still within spec on this, but we're gonna go ahead and replace that, and we're going to put in a 4 ohm or a 3.9 ohm is what I ordered for it. We're gonna go ahead and put in a 3.9, and then up on this top one here, you can see on our schematic right here, which is R5, that comes in, it's supposed to be a 510, and it's measuring at 750. That's this top one here. And so we've got all those, and then also our capacitor. Let's pull you out a little bit. This capacitor right here on this side is supposed to be a 0.01 microfarad at 500 volts. I went ahead and ordered up some 0.01s, and those should do the trick right here. So I've got some of those on hand, and we're gonna go ahead and replace some stuff up. I did order some of these old school 2.5Ks at 10%, but this is still measuring in within spec, so we're gonna just keep those that way. And yeah, so let me get at it. Alright, it's been a few days. I went and robbed a cord from an old pond pump that I had in the garage. So I just stole this because that pump went out, and so yeah, so I've got about 15 feet of cable we're going to be using for this. Let me get this flip back over and we'll start going through it. Alright, so I pulled all my stuff here. I don't have this value in the kit that I bought. This is a 500K resistor. And so we're not going to replace that one until tomorrow. And I just won't film that. And so, but what we are going to do is, so this resistor's fine, this resistor's fine, these ones are out of spec, and these two are out of spec. This one's fine, and this is out of spec. So let's go ahead and get this one clipped out. So anyway, let's get this changed out. What we're going to do is we're going to clip that off, strip it back, and then we're going to J-hook into there, and then I'll bring you in closer for that. And then we'll start, we're going to up the wattage on these two here, and these two are going to be the same wattage as they were before. And we'll just wait to replace this. We'll replace the thing, and we'll run a right down through the center here, or maybe right through here. We'll tap into that. Let me zoom you right the fuck in over here. Alright, so now you can see this screw right here. That's where I'm going to ground my cable to the chassis. There's nothing on that right there. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and grab our snips, and we're going to clip this resistor out right here. That thing right there is just nasty and leaky and whatnot. And now we're going to come in and we're going to strip this cloth wire back a little bit so we can J-hook it. we'll get some heat shrink from the depths of our heat shrinker. We'll just see where we're at with the size that we need. I think we'll just use some of this black stuff here, and we'll use a nice nice amount there. And we'll just slide that on right away, and slide it on and slide it back. I think that'll cover the whole thing. Yeah, nice. Perfect. Yeah. And then we'll just heat shrink that whole thing right on there, and that way we're doubly protected. Yeah. Alright. Now let's get out one of our, and we'll J-hook these routers. Alright, let's J-hook these first. So, what we're doing is we're taking this wire here, and this wire here, and we've J-hooked them. And then we'll come in here and we'll measure this lead, and we'll make sure it's right in the middle, and then we'll J-hook that where that needs to be J-hooked. So let's measure that, and we're going to clip it off right there, and you do the same to the other side. So you get this really nice solid connection before you even solder. So, and then after you solder it, you just get this real nice solid connection that is going to last for a really, really, really long time until somebody comes and takes that apart. So we've got our component in there, and just solder up our connection real nice. Make sure we get that whole thing done. Just like so. Let's go with the schematic here. And so I remember this one here, because it's jumpered, is this bottom one here, and that's supposed to be a 510 ohm resistor, and it's measuring out at 750 ohms. So we're gonna get in there, and we're gonna, I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna clip that off, because they just ran the resistor through. And we're gonna bend that one up, and then I'm gonna clip it off from here. So I'm working on the opposite side of this. You're not really gonna be able to see it no matter what I do. That's the top resistor, and then there's another one underneath, which is this one right here. But you're not really going to be able to see it no matter what I do. So especially with the camera angle that I have available, we're going to get in here, just heat that solder up, get her flowing. That way we can pull that out, and then we'll pull this one out while we're at it and lift that up. See what I'm saying? I mean, all you need is a little bit of solder on them, and you can get them out of there. So we're gonna address the bottom one first, and then we'll address the top one. Bend it in right there. That's better. All right. Sometimes it takes some finagling to get it to where you want it to be. There we go. And now I'm going to, now that that one's soldered in, I'm going to bend this resistor out, and I'm gonna pull this brown wire around down past it, because there shouldn't be a bunch of fuckery going on right there, and there is. So I'm gonna bend that up so that resistor sits out like that, and then I'm going to bend my other resistor. We'll see how that works. That one go in there. And let's do this. All right, we've got her in now. Just bend those up. And now I can do my solder connections, and then these ones are done. There we go. Wow, that took a while. There must be a lot of flux on the stuff that they used prior to in their soldering, in their solder or whatever. All right, our connections are nice and solid on that side. Come on. I know you want to. Ugh. Man, that thing just doesn't want to come out of there. Let me clip the back end of that a little bit better. There we go. And then we'll get our solder sucker in there and get rid of some of this stuff. Alright, that was quick. Let me get some solder on there and just, that way we're melting it up. The solder seems to melt pretty easily, so. Alright. Woohoo! Alright, so I'm gonna put this one in. Yeah, because I don't think that these are the same values. I mean, they could be, but the red's in the wrong area, so unless it goes like this, brown, red, and black. But that's gold. Yeah. Whatever the case may be, they're not the same values as what's on the schematic, and so I'm going with what's on the schematic. That's where my shit lies, is the schematic. And maybe they just threw whatever values they had in stock thinking, oh, it's not going to matter that much. But for me, where I've never done this before, that shit fucking matters to me, because like I said, I've never done it before, and I'm reading the schematic, and whatever the schematic says is what I'm doing. Alright, let me get that soldered in. on this side, then we'll solder the other side. And so after I get the cord replaced, let's give her a fire up and see where she's at. See if... Alright, we got that one. Is that wire still? No. Okay. That wire's connected. That wire's connected. Alright, I think we're good to go. Let me just get these wires clipped out of here. Like I said, everybody's got to start somewhere, and that's why I started with this before I moved on to anything else. So let's review what we've done here. I pulled out these, I'm guessing these were 1 watt resistors. This 0.01 microfarad at 500 volts. And I'm guessing these 2 tiny ones were just 1/4 watt resistors. These tiny ones right here. I'm guessing they were 1/4 watt because everything back then was a lot bigger, but my 1/4 watts are about half that size. So, and I'm guessing these were 1 watt. And so I think I got one more 1/4 watt, which I probably have that value on hand in 1/4 watt. But the schematic doesn't say the wattage on any of these. It just tells me what percent, and it only gives me the wattage on this one right here, which should be a 5 watt. Yeah. So that's the only one that it gives me the wattage on, and so oh, besides this one right here, this big one it says 3 watt on it, but that's the only ones that it give me, and that one's in spec, so I don't have to change that. So let's get the power cord moved up through the bottom, and we'll move this up out of the way, and we'll get the power cord situated in here. Got it started through there. There we go. That was hard. Oh yeah, that barely fits in there. That is a good fit. I like that. Perfect. Alright, so that's the top. Alright, sorry about that. I don't know where we left off. I ran out of space on my card. But anyway, I don't know where it stopped at, but we've got our resistors that we pulled out. We've got our cord that we've replaced with our 3-prong cable, and we've got it plugged in now, and we're going to test it. And I don't know where we're at, so we're just going to I've switched all the knobs down to whatever, and if it turns on, we're going to test a tube. And where are we at? So we're on our switch here, and let's see if she powers on. I don't know if you can see that, but the light is on there. So, as it seems, we're powered on. Let's get our tube in and see if we can read some stuff on it. So this is a 6AQ5. Our shunt should be on 22. Let's move this up to 22. And then our filament is already set to 6.3. Our selector is on 3, but we're going to move that here in a second to test some stuff. Up, we should be 1, 5, 6, and 7. Or wait. Yeah. Is that right? 6AQ5. 6AQ5. So, selector is on 3, 1, 5, 6, and 7. So 1 up, 5, 6, and 7 are up. If this has a line below the number, you can't move it, but if it doesn't have a line, you can move it to adjust. So 5 and 6, we can see if it's got a short. And then down is going to be 2 and 3. And 3. So now let's go and move this to line adjust. Boy, that thing is vibrating, huh? That shouldn't be vibrating like that. Why is that vibrating so hard? Maybe it has something to do where I put my ground. Let's turn this off. And, yeah. So, yeah. Something's definitely wrong. Let me, we're gonna take this off. I'll bring it back. Also, I got this, this is a Hammond AO 35, I believe. Let's see. Yeah, AO 35. So, I've also got this. I want you guys to leave in the comments what I should do with this. I've got a few options of what I could do with this. The circuit underneath is all original. Let me show you that. I'll zoom you right in. So you see this is all original circuitry. I got a few options what I could do with this. I can go on to the guitologist's and do what he did with this, or I can turn this into a matchless Spitfire type circuit, which it's already pretty close. I can also turn it into a couple of other like Fender style type amplifiers as well. But why don't you guys in the comments tell me what I should do with this. Alright, who of you out there caught my mistakes that I made? Number one mistake I made. I did not cut the leg. Let me zoom you right the hell in here. There we go. I'll move you over a little bit. So I did not cut the leg of this resistor, and it was touching this lug of the switch down in here. Let me get a pointer. So this resistor here, I forgot to cut the lead off of it, and it was touching this lug inside here. And then on the other side, I moved my ground wire from up here. Let me zoom you out so you can see that. So I had my ground wire up here on, I need to zoom you out a little bit more. So I had my ground wire up on this screw, and then I rerouted it and I put it over on the ground of the transformer over here. And then, so that was my first mistake over here. I forgot to cut this lead coming off, and it was actually touching this lug down in here. And we'll zoom you back in for that. That's a little foggy. This lead right here was touching this lug. Then on the other side over here, let me move you over and move that wire out of the way. So these two resistors here, this one and this one here. So this long one that's supposed to be coming over to this lug down here, you still can't see it. Let me try and push that out of the way a little bit more. It was supposed to be on this lug here, and this one was actually in this lug here, and it was supposed to be where this one was, because I soldered these two first to the same lug like they're supposed to go, and then I, without thinking, just because this is a bigger resistor, I pulled it all the way down to this number 2 lug instead of going, or number 2 lug right here, and it was supposed to go to 3, and this one was on 3 just because it was a smaller resistor, and just not thinking, and I soldered it up to number 3 instead of number 2, and so now everything's kosher, and the circuit is proper according to the schematic here. And so basically what I did, let me zoom you out so you can see the schematic. So the schematic here, I took this one here, which is these two lugs are connected. I took that one, and instead of tying it into this lug here, I tied it into this lug, and that was wrong, and I should have tied it in to this one and this one, you know. So I corrected that, and now it's fine. Let's flip it over and give her a test. It powers on. You can see the light there. Your line adjust on this is here, this little meter, and then all the way over on your selector switch you have a line adjust line on it over here, and so you turn it to there, and then you adjust your line with this little dial, and you can see it move there a little bit. Let me zoom you in, but you can see it deflect. And we'll just get it set up, and then we'll get our selector set back at 3, and we'll put our tube in. So these right here, so like on, for the SBQ5, the number 1 up has has a line underneath it, and the number 7 has a line underneath it. So it'll automatically light this light down here. This light right here automatically lights up. I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, so you turn that up, and 7 will do the same thing, light that up. But these other ones, so let's see, SPQ5, and so number 3 down will also light up, but the other ones won't. So you want to make sure that when you're going through this, that these lights don't light up on the ones that don't have the line, and because if they do, that means your tube has a short. So that one's fine, that one's fine. So now we're warmed up, and we can test the tube. And we're seeing that this one is testing at, the longer that you do it, it fucks up your tube. So if you just do it like that, that tube's testing like 890. So this tube is a good tube. I already knew that. This tube I tested before I changed out any of the things, and it said that it was a weak tube. So let's go ahead and test it with the new components in, and we'll let that warm up as well, and then we'll go through and check our ones that don't have the line on it. And after we let it warm up, so 5 and 6, no short there, no short there, and 2, no short there. There is a flicker when you switch it though. So let's just check our line again. And we're a little off. Let's get it in the center. Okay, back to 3. And now we'll test to see if the tube is good. And you see it's on the bad side of weak. So this tube is no good. So now we know we've got a working tube tester. And that's pretty much as simple as it gets for repairing an electronic tube tester. Like I said, I made some mistakes. Turn it off. We'll set all of our stuff back to 0. This one is a little bent. The number 4 is a little bent this way. I don't really want to mess with those. It's working, so we're good there. We got the... Let's go over what we did. We changed out to a 3-prong. Grounded that to the chassis. We changed out this 820 ohm, which was reading 970. We changed out this 4.7K, which was reading 6.3K. We changed out what we left this one, R7, which was just the short merit light overload circuit, and that one was reading fine, so we didn't change that. We changed out the other side of the selector switch, or excuse me, yeah, the selector switch. We switched out the 1.6K that was reading 230 ohms, and the 510K that was reading, or 510 ohms, which was reading 750 ohms. And now we're back up to snuff. Everything's working good, and that's gonna be it. That's in a nutshell how you repair one of these EICO Model 625s. In my opinion, these little carbon film and the film capacitor should you should at least check the resistors and always change out this wax and paper, and if it comes with a 2-wire cord, change that out as well. But that's gonna be it. Appreciate you guys tuning in and watching my videos, and we passed up the 400 mark yesterday, and so I thank you guys for that. If you like this video, go ahead and hit the like button and smash that subscribe button if you haven't already, and I appreciate it. And peace, guys.